Hello folks, on this channel we usually talk a lot about different economic and political systems. Well, let's shake it up a bit with the different types of cultural policy. Cultural policy is a wide-reaching classification that is over a large number of issues. Let's look at the different subclasses of cultural policy. The subclasses of cultural policy are ethical systems, technological policy, ecological policy, personhood systems, minority ethics, and religious policy. Ethical systems are systems that serve as the justification for all laws. Technological policy are political actions toward the progression of technology. Ecological policy is the policy towards the protection or promotion of the natural ecology. Personhood systems dictate the beings that have rights, privileges, and duties, and what those are. Minority ethics are systems of policy that affect the rights and existence of different minority groups, and religious policy is policy that dictates the religion and/or spirituality that a person has access to. Starting with ethical systems, there are ethical egoism, divine command, cultural relativism, and utilitarianism. Ethical egoism is a system that believes that the source of morality comes from the individual, and that there is no absolute morality. Ethical egoist societies produce ideologies like illegalism, egoism, and anarcho-individualism. Divine command is the system that believes that a particular deity has given strict, uncompromising rules for what is right and wrong. Divine command societies are always theocratic and often end up as absolute monarchies. Cultural relativism is a system that believes that right and wrong are dictated by the culture of a society. Cultural relativism is fascism. Utilitarianism is a system that believes that right and wrong are what is best for the most amount of people. Utilitarian societies are usually populist systems that emphasize social benefit. Moving on to technological policy. Technological policy lies more on a spectrum that can be split into 5 different systems: decelerationism, Luddism, apathy, accelerationism, and deregulationism. There are the 5 different technological ideologies. Decelerationism is the belief that our society should destroy the infrastructure of the current technological era and bring ourselves back to a past era. Luddism believes that society should destroy current advances in technology, but not to the point of reaching backwards in time. Apathy is that as long as current regulations are put in place, then technological advances pose no threat to humanity. Accelerationism believes that technology is inherently beneficial and that we should pursue its development while keeping certain regulations. Deregulationism believes that technological advances can only benefit society and should not be regulated in any way. On with ecological policy. Currently, there are 6 types of ecological policy that correspond to the 3 classes of people on Earth right now: peasant ecology, proletariat ecology, bourgeois ecology, peasant degrowth, proletariat degrowth, and bourgeois degrowth. Peasant ecology focuses on self-sufficiency and the separation from interconnected grids and services. Peasant degrowth actively opposes long-term preservation of the natural ecology. Proletariat ecology focuses on renewable energy, recycling, and conservations to preserve the natural ecosystem. Proletariat degrowth prioritizes the development of infrastructure over the survival of the ecology. Bourgeois ecology focuses on, quote, ethical consumption, end quote, or the ideology of voting with your money. Bourgeois degrowth focuses on the furtherance of profitable industries over the survival of ecology. I've already talked about the varied personhood systems in detail on other videos on my channel, but just in case you missed it, there are 3 personhood systems: traditionalism, humanism, and post-humanism. Traditionalism believes that personhood is minor in comparison to nobility or divinity, and that people are not equal to each other. Humanism believes three things: that there is nothing greater than personhood, that persons are equal, and that humans and persons are the same thing. Posthumanism believes that personhood is a spectrum and that it is not dependent on your species. Moving on to minority ethics. Minority ethics is split between three primary positions: intersectionality, selectivism, and reactionarianism. Intersectionality is the belief that all oppressed minorities have the same interests and that they are worth preserving. Selectivism is an umbrella term referring to any ideology or system that selectively supports certain minorities and is hostile to others. Reactionarianism is a system that is absolutely biased towards majority rule at the cost of the minority, advocating the oppression of all social minorities at once. Religious policy are systems that advocate for certain actions or lack of actions towards different religions or religious groups. Theocracy is religious policy that ranges from legal bias towards a particular religion to the public execution of people from different religions. Secularism is the legal equality and non-bias towards different religions. And state atheism is a policy that ranges from the prohibition of religious studies to the imprisonment of followers of a religion. So how can we use this knowledge to determine the cultural policy of a person or system? Well, each of these classes of cultural policy pair with each other into three different titles. Ethical policy pairs with personhood systems, technological policy pairs with ecological policy, and minority ethics pairs with religious policy. Let's look into it in more detail. In terms of ethical personhood pairing, posthumanism adds a neo-prefix to the ethical system. Humanism leads the ethical system alone, and traditionalism adds a proto-prefix to the ethical system. Some examples would be neo-utilitarianism, being a hybrid between utilitarianism and posthumanism. Fascism being the combination between cultural relativism and humanism, and proto-divinity being the combination between divine command and traditionalism. In terms of the ecology-technology pairing, ecological ideologies are generalized into right-left, and center, with right being characterized by peasantry, center being characterized by bourgeois, and left being characterized by proletariat. Then add the technological ideology as the base word. Some examples are right deceleration, being a combination between peasant ecology or degrowth and decelerationism, center apathy being a combination between technological apathy and bourgeois ecology or degrowth, and left decelerationism being a combination between deregulationism and proletariat ecology or degrowth. Finally, we have the minority religion pairing. This is as simple as adding the minority ideology to the religious ideology. Examples include reactionary theocracy, selective secularism, and intersectional atheism. Using this classification system, we can classify and identify almost any cultural policy. As examples, we have proto-divine, right decelerationist reactionary theocracy as a society that uses the traditionalist theory of personhood, the divine right theory of law, peasant degrowth ecological policy, and decelerationist technological policy, as well as reactionary minority policy and theocratic religious policy. Neo-utilitarian left deregulationist intersectional atheism is a cultural policy that uses post-human theory of personhood, utilitarian law, proletariat ecology, deregulationist technological policy, intersectionalist minority policy, and state atheist religious policy. I hope you liked this video. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to support the channel. See y'all!